The city of Portsboro was a beast of steel and smoke, a place where dreams were either forged in fire or crushed under the weight of relentless ambition. In its concrete heart, in a one-room apartment that smelled of damp concrete and hope, lived Lena and Marco. Lena, at 36, was a woman built of strength and softness. She wasn't the willowy figure from the glossy magazines Marco would sometimes flick through. She was substantial, her curves a testament to years of hearty cheap meals and a body that had become a fortress for those she loved. Her laughter was a rich, contagious sound that could warm the chilliest room, and her embrace felt like coming home. She had married Marco when his pockets were full of nothing but potential. He was tall, with intense eyes and a sharp mind that life had consistently tried to blunt. Their home was a testament to their struggle. A single bulb hung from a wire, casting long shadows over their few possessions. A mattress on the floor, a crate that served as a wardrobe, and a small two-burner stove. When the winter rains came, a persistent drip would plink into a strategically placed pot, a metronome keeping time for their hardships, but Lena never complained. When Marco returned each evening, his shoulders slumped with the exhaustion of another day of rejected applications, she would meet him at the door. Her hands, strong from kneading dough and scrubbing floors, would rub the tension from his back. "Don't worry, my love," she'd murmur, her voice a steady anchor in his storm of frustration. "This is all temporary. One day you'll be the one in the corner office with a view of the whole city. They'll all call you Sir." Marco would offer a weary smile. "Amen. But look at us, Lena. Just look at where we are." Lena would cup his face, her touch firm and sure. "Where we are doesn't define who we are. You are going to soar. I have always believed it." They had 2 children, Sophia, a bright-eyed girl of 8, and Leo, a boisterous boy of 5. Lena carried the family on her broad shoulders like a titan. She woke before dawn to bake pastries, selling them from a cart to factory workers. On other days, she cleaned offices or took in laundry. Every single penny she earned, she brought home. "Here, Marco," she'd say, pressing the notes into his hand. "Buy the business journals, keep networking. Don't you dare give up." Marco, though a knot of shame tightened in his stomach each time, would obey. The turning point came when Lena, through a customer at her pastry cart, heard of an opening at Aether Industries, a titan of tech innovation. She raced home, her heart pounding with a fierce hope. "Marco, put on your good shirt. The blue one. There's an interview today. Right now." Marco groaned, collapsing onto the mattress. "Lena, please. Those places. They don't want someone like me." "I'm tired of the rejection." Lena stood over him, her hands on her hips, a force of nature he couldn't deny. "If you don't get up, I will physically drag you there. Do you want to let your brilliance rot in this room? You have a mind that can change things. Now, let the world see it." Her fire ignited a tiny guttering flame in his own spirit. He went. 2 weeks later, a crisp, white envelope arrived. Marco had gotten the job. Lena's celebration was a pure, unadulterated burst of joy. She danced around their small room, pulling a laughing Sophia and Leo into her arms, her voice singing praises. "You see? You see? I told you." From that day, their lives began a slow, steady ascent. Marco, with his sharp intellect and newfound drive, excelled at Aether Industries. Lena continued with her pastry cart, but now she added coffee and sandwiches, her small business thriving. They moved from their single room to a modest but clean 2-bedroom apartment. The day they left, Lena ran her fingers over the water-stained wall one last time, a silent thank you to the shelter that had housed their dreams. Marco hugged her, a genuine, happy laugh escaping him. "You are a strange woman, thanking these crumbling walls." Lena smiled, her eyes glistening. "I am a grateful woman, Marco. Always." As the years passed, Marco's star rose. He became a manager, then a director. His salary swelled and their life transformed. They moved to a sleek apartment in a better part of the city. Sophia and Leo were enrolled in good schools. Marco showered Lena with gifts, a gold necklace, a new sewing machine, a stylish handbag. He even bought her a small, efficient car. Life was sweet. but a subtle poison was beginning to seep into their paradise. Marco's new world was one of polished glass, sharp suits, and even sharper ambition. His colleagues had wives who were like elegant accessories, slim, manicured, masters of small talk and corporate socializing. Lena, with her warm, substantial presence and simple, practical clothes, began to feel like a relic from a past he was eager to forget. The comments started small, disguised as concern or jest. "Lena, maybe skip the extra bread at dinner, eh? Think of your health." "Look at you, my love, still so strong. Those arms could probably lift a car." He'd say these things in front of his new friends, and they would chuckle. Lena would laugh along, but the sound was hollow, the smile not reaching her eyes. One evening, she had finished a new dress for a company gala, a deep emerald green that made her skin glow. She presented herself to Marco, a hint of her old shyness returning. "Well, how do I look?" Marco looked up from his phone. His eyes scanned her from head to toe, and his lip curled slightly. "You look like a sofa that's been overstuffed, Lena. Why do you waste money on fabric? You should be spending it on a gym membership." The words were not a knife. They were a sledgehammer, shattering the very foundation of her self-worth. She walked silently to their bedroom, sat on the edge of the bed they now shared in a spacious room, and wept without a sound. She remembered pawning her mother's lone piece of silver to buy him a decent pair of shoes for his first interview. Now, the man she had built was mocking the very body that had labored for him. She kept quiet. For the children. But at night, when Marco's breathing evened out beside her, she would turn her face to the wall and let the hot, silent tears fall. Her prayers whispered into the darkness. "God, I love this man. I carried him when he had nothing. I stood between him and the world's contempt. Now that he stands tall, he looks down on me. Please, don't let this family break." She tried dieting, but stress would send her back to the comfort of food. She thought of exercise, but her days were still long, her energy finite. And with each passing day, Marco's words grew colder, his absences longer, his phone more guarded. "Mommy," Sophia asked one night, her small voice laced with worry. "Why? Is Daddy always angry with you now?" Lena forced a bright smile, brushing her daughter's hair. "Don't worry, sweetheart. Daddy is just very, very busy. He's carrying a lot on his shoulders." But deep inside, in a place she refused to let the children see, her own heart was developing hairline fractures, ready to shatter. The chill in the apartment had nothing to do with the weather. It was a coldness that emanated from Marco, a frost that settled in the spaces between them where warmth used to live. Lena's attempts to bridge the gap were met with a wall of disdain. One Saturday she woke early, the memory of their leaner years pulling at her heart. She prepared his favorite breakfast, fluffy pancakes with maple syrup, just like she used to make on the single burner. She dressed Sophia and Leo in their best clothes, and they sat at the dining table, a picture of a perfect family waiting for its head. When Marco emerged from the bedroom, crisp in a new polo shirt, Lena smiled, her hope a fragile thing. "Darling, sit down." The children wanted to eat together, as a family. Marco's eyes swept over her, taking in the slight sheen of sweat on her forehead from her efforts in the kitchen. His nose wrinkled. "Lena, look at you. You're perspiring already, and it's barely morning. You disgust me." The porcelain smile on Lena's face shattered. Her hand trembled, causing the juice in her glass to ripple. The children froze, their wide eyes moving from their father's contemptuous face to their mother's crumbling one. Leo whispered, his small voice cutting through the silence. "Mommy, don't be sad," but it was too late. A single tear traced a path down Lena's cheek before she could stop it. Marco was already grabbing his car keys, the sound of the slamming door the final note in their shattered morning symphony. The man who once ran home to her laughter now slunk back late, smelling of expensive whiskey and a perfume that was sharp, floral, and utterly foreign. Lena pretended not to notice, weaving a tapestry of excuses for him. He's under stress. The new project is demanding. But the threads of her denial were unraveling. One night, when he stumbled in past midnight, she found her courage. "Marco," she began softly, "the children ask for you. They miss you. Why must you come home so late every night?" He turned on her, his eyes bloodshot and full of venom. "Must you always nag me, Lena? Is it your business when I come home? Look at you! Fat, sweaty. You smell of grease and kitchen toil. You repulse me. Don't you ever question me again. The children, huddled in the hallway, witnessed the evisceration. Sophia ran to her mother, clutching Lena's skirt, her small body trembling. It's okay, Mommy, it's okay. But it wasn't. The truth was a serpent coiling tightly around Lena's heart. There was another woman. Her name was Isabel. She was a razor blade of a woman, sleek, slim, and sharply beautiful. She worked in the marketing department at Ether, a master of presentation who saw Marco not as a man, but as a trophy. In her minimalist apartment, she would trace circles on his chest with a manicured finger. You know I love you, Marco, she'd purr. But why are you still living with that peasant? She doesn't fit your life anymore. You're a king. You need a queen by your side, not a scullery maid. Marco would laugh, the sound brittle. Don't worry, Isabel. It's just a matter of time. The children complicate things. Isabel would pout, a perfectly practiced expression. Children are resilient. They'll get over it. I won't share you forever, Marco. You deserve the best. And I am the best. Back in the home he was slowly destroying, Lena tried one last desperate time. Marco, she pleaded, her voice raw with unshed tears. If there is someone else, please just tell me. Don't let this lie destroy us. His face contorted into a mask of pure fury. How dare you? Who do you think you are? Look at yourself. Do you think any man in his right mind would want a cow? I'm ashamed to be seen with you. Be grateful I still provide this roof over your head. Lena broke. The dam holding back her pain burst. After everything, Marco. I carried you. I believed in you when no one else did. This is my reward? But Marco only hissed, a sound of pure disgust. Grabbed his keys and stormed out, leaving her sobbing on the floor, the pieces of their life scattered around her. The final confrontation came when Lena saw them together. She was returning from the market, her bags heavy with groceries, when Marco's car pulled over a block from their home. Isabel stepped out, laughing at something he said. She spotted Lena, and a slow, predatory smile spread across her face. So you're the wife, Isabel said, her voice dripping with condescension. Now I see it. You're substantial. No wonder Marco is embarrassed. Wake up, darling. He's mine now. Lena said nothing. Words were useless against such weaponized cruelty. She walked away, each step a monumental effort, her heart a stone in her chest. That night she begged him, one last time, for the sake of the home they had built. Marco, please, don't let her destroy us. The children need their father. I need you, he shouted. Shut up, Lena. If it weren't for the children, I'd have thrown you out already. You're a disgrace. Too fat, too old, too common. I regret the day I married you. He didn't just break her heart. He pulverized it. As she collapsed to the floor sobbing, she knew it was over. The love she had nurtured for so long was finally, irrevocably, dead. Desperate and broken, Lena went to the only person she thought could help, Marco's elder brother, Adrian. He was a calm, grounded man, a carpenter who built things with his hands and valued what was real. When he opened his door to find Lena, her eyes swollen and her spirit shattered, he knew. Adrian, she wept, falling to her knees in his humble workshop. Please talk to him. He doesn't see me anymore. He has another woman. He calls me horrible things. Please help me save my home. Adrian helped her up, his heart heavy. Lena, you are a good woman. I remember what you did for him. I'll talk to him. The next day, Adrian confronted Marco in his glossy office. Have you forgotten where you came from, brother? Adrian's voice was low and steady, but it carried the weight of truth. Have you forgotten the woman who sold pastries in the rain to buy you a shirt for an interview? She was the same woman then, Marco. Has her value changed because your bank balance has? You are a disgrace. Marco, stung by the accusation and fueled by pride, shouted back, Stay out of my life, Adrian. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. I understand ingratitude, Adrian retorted, his disappointment a physical presence in the room. Walk this path, and you will lose everything that truly matters. He left, the slam of the office door a period at the end of his warning. That evening, Marco came home breathing fire. You went to my brother? He roared, his face a mask of rage. You want to shame me? Before Lena could explain, his hand connected with her face. The slap echoed through the apartment. The children screamed, rushing to their mother's defense. Daddy, stop! Please don't hurt Mommy. But Marco was beyond reason. He dragged Lena, sobbing and clutching her stinging cheek, toward the door. He threw her small bag, packed with a few meager belongings, onto the hallway floor. "Get out. I don't ever want to see your face again." Sophia and Leo clung to her, their small bodies racked with sobs. "Mommy, don't go, please." Lena knelt, hugging them with a strength she didn't know she possessed. "My babies, I love you. I will always love you. I will come back for you. I promise." It was a vow she etched into her soul. She walked away, barefoot and broken, to the home of her old friend. Clara, a no-nonsense nurse, took one look at her and pulled her into a fierce embrace. "Shh, my sister. You're safe here." Meanwhile, Marco wasted no time. Within days, Isabel had moved in, her expensive perfumes overpowering the lingering scent of Lena's cooking. She redecorated, throwing out Lena's plants and family photos, erasing her presence. When the children returned from school, Sophia stared at the stranger sitting in her mother's chair. "Who are you?" Isabel smiled, a cold, sharp thing. "I'm your father's new partner." "You will respect me," Leo shouted. "You're not our mommy." "We want our mommy." Marco silenced them with a roar. "Enough! You will obey her!" The house, once filled with Lena's warm laughter, was now a cold, silent museum of Marco's pride. The children grew quiet and withdrawn. At night, Sophia would whisper to Leo, "She'll come back." Mommy never breaks a promise. Far away, in Clara's small apartment, Lena sat by the window staring at the moon. Her heart was a raw, open wound. "God," she whispered into the night, "if you can hear me, please don't let my children forget me." Lena's existence became a gray landscape of grief. She functioned, helped by Clara's steadfast friendship, but her spirit was with her children. Clara, determined to pull her from the abyss, used her connections to get Lena an interview for a receptionist position at a small clinic. "You are smart, capable, and you have a kindness that puts people at ease," Clara insisted. "You can do this." Summoning a strength she didn't recognize, Lena went. She wore a simple, neat dress and met the questions with a quiet dignity that impressed the manager. She got the job. It was a small victory, a flicker of light in the overwhelming darkness. For the first time since her exile, she felt a sliver of hope. She could build a life, a safe harbor for her children. Meanwhile, Marco's gilded cage was turning to rust. Isabel's true nature emerged once the thrill of the conquest faded. She was demanding, critical, and spendthrift. "This house is so boring, Marco. When are you taking me to Bali? Your fat wife probably never even asked for a vacation. Is it not me who makes you look good? Without me, you're just a boring man with money." One Friday, Marco came home early, hoping to mend the growing rift. He found Isabel on their couch, laughing, her head resting on the shoulder of another man. The scene was a grotesque mirror of his own betrayal. "Isabel," he thundered. She turned, annoyed, not ashamed. "Oh, you're back early. Charles is just a friend. Get out." Marco roared at the man who scurried away. He turned his fury on Isabel. "After all I've given you." Isabel laughed, a harsh, brittle sound. "Don't act the saint, Marco. You threw your wife out for me, remember? Now you're crying because I'm doing to you what you did to her. How does it feel?" The truth of her words was a physical blow. He stumbled out of his own home, got into his car, and sped into the night, rain blurring the windshield and tears blurring his vision. He was fleeing the ghost of his own choices. In his recklessness, he lost control. The shriek of tearing metal was the sound of his world ending. Adrian rushed to the hospital to find his brother broken, literally and figuratively. Both of Marco's legs were shattered. The doctor was clear. He's lucky to be alive. He will not walk for a long time. He'll need a wheelchair, then extensive therapy. When Marco awoke to this new reality, despair swallowed him whole. "A wheelchair?" he whispered, the word a death sentence. Back at home, Isabel's compassion lasted as long as Marco's bank statements. When Adrian brought Marco home, she looked at the wheelchair with undisguised disgust. "You expect me to be your nurse? I didn't sign up for this." "Isabel, please," Marco begged, helpless. "Please what? You can't even provide for me anymore. What use are you to me?" She packed her bags and left without a backward glance, her final click of the heels on the tile floor echoing the finality of his ruin. Marco was alone, trapped in a broken body, in a house haunted by the family he had destroyed. The weight of his actions finally crushed his pride. "Brother," he wept to Adrian, "I have destroyed my life with my own hands. I was a fool. Please take me to Lena. I have to beg her forgiveness." Adrian found Lena at the clinic. She looked older, but there was a new resilience in her eyes, a strength forged in fire. "Lena," he began gently, "Marco has been in a terrible accident. His legs, he's in a wheelchair. Isabel left him. He is alone and broken. He asked me to beg you for forgiveness." Lena's hand flew to her mouth. A torrent of emotions, shock, pity, and the old familiar ache washed over her. Is he alive?" "He is, but the man you knew is gone. Pride blinded him, but now he sees." "Will you see him?" Lena was silent for a long time, weighing the immense pain against the teachings of her heart. "I carried that anger for so long, Adrian. It's a heavy burden. I will forgive him, not for him but for me. I want peace." She went to the house she had been thrown out of. Marco was by the window, a shadow in a wheelchair. When he saw her, his breath hitched. "Lena," he whispered, his voice ragged with shame and hope. She stood in the doorway, the woman he had discarded. Now his only lifeline. "Marco," she said softly. Tears streamed down his face. "Lena, I don't deserve to look at you. I wronged you in every way a man can wrong a woman. I was blind. I threw away gold and chased after dust. Please, I beg you, forgive me." Lena walked to him and knelt beside his chair, her eyes also filled with tears. "I forgave you even before I came here, Marco. I just couldn't carry the poison anymore." He broke down, sobbing like a child. Can you ever come home?" "Let's not talk of that now," she said, her voice firm yet kind. "What you need is to heal, and I will help you, not because I am your wife, but because I am a human being, and because you are the father of my children." And so she began the long, arduous journey of his rehabilitation. She visited after work, helping him with his exercises, cooking nutritious meals, and filling the silent house with stories of Sophia and Leo, whom she brought to visit on weekends. The children, hesitant at first, were won over by their father's genuine remorse and their mother's guiding love. Marco fought through the pain of physical therapy, driven by a new purpose, to be worthy of the second chance he had been given. The day he took his first shuffling steps with a walker, with Lena steadying him and the children cheering, was the day he felt truly reborn. They never went back to being the couple they were. That chapter was closed, but they built something new, something quieter and more profound, a deep, abiding friendship rooted in mutual respect, forgiveness, and the shared love of their children. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset paint the Portsboro skyline in hues of gold and orange, Marco spoke softly. "I used to think love was about perfection, about a certain image," he said. "But now I know it's about the heart that stays, even when everything else leaves." Lena smiled, a genuine, peaceful smile that reached her eyes. "And I learned that forgiveness isn't about forgetting the past. It's about choosing a future that isn't chained to it." They sat in comfortable silence as the stars emerged, the cold of the past finally thawed by a hard-won peace. The storm had passed, and in its wake it left not ruin, but the fertile ground for a new beginning. Moral of the story: pride can dismantle the strongest of foundations, while humility and forgiveness can rebuild from the rubble. Never devalue those who stand with you in the storm, for true worth is measured by the heart, not the reflection in the mirror.